So we got an extra chair over there. We need to push back.
Oh, yeah, here.
Yeah.
Scott coming?
No,
No.
He had surgery in his mouth today.
All
Oh,
right, I'm going ahead and call the meeting to order. If everyone would like to stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag, we put it down there then. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It was my idea to move it, and I turned to here.
New business. We had a meeting and interviewed some individuals for the new enforcement administrator. And we all kind of had a consensus of who we wanted when we left that night. So I'm going to need somebody to make a motion to hire this person.
I make a motion to hire Michael Hicks. What was it, 18 an hour?
Yes,
At 18 an hour to start June 1st.
June 1st. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
It was
Aye.
a short meeting, Mike.
Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to getting started.
You'll do great.
Yeah, we're excited, super excited.
Ken's excited, are you?
Yeah.
Remember, he's your new best friend.
Yeah. Okay, ordinance 2026, no, she put a number on it.
I didn't, because I didn't have it at the time.
Yeah.
No, she's got it.
She's got it on there now,
Yeah,
yeah.
2026-6, it's an ordinance regulating the keeping of chickens and housing of livestock within the corporate limits of the town of Hanover, Indiana. So, I'll just kind of read it, or Pat, do you want to read it, or?
I can. I mean, are you guys,
There's things in
you
here
have some more,
that,
you have some more discussion on it, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so whereas the town of Hanover recognizes the growing interest in urban agriculture and the sustainable production of local food, and whereas the town council finds it necessary to establish clear guidelines to ensure that the keeping of chickens and housing of livestock does not create a nuisance or health hazard for neighboring residents. Now therefore be it ordained by the town council of Hanover, Indiana. And so section 1 is permit required that no person shall keep chicken or livestock within the town limits without first obtaining a livestock permit from the Hanover Town Hall or designated zoning officer. It's a permit fee, one-time application of $25. The town may inspect the property prior to the issuance of any permit application. Prior to the issuance of any permit, application for and receipt of a permit shall constitute waiver and explicit permission for the town officials to make entry on the subject property to inspect and assure compliance with the provisions of the ordinance. Permits, say?
So question.
Yep.
Okay, do we have this permit?
Do we have?
Do we have a permit? I mean, it says they have to,
Printed.
do we have a permit that's drawn up?
Oh, in the form, we have the application form. We can get the permit form together pretty quickly. though. That's not a problem.
So
Okay.
would that be issued by Kobe or by Mike?
I think mine.
Mike,
Okay.
Yeah, because he needs to inspect it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay,
So that means then we're looking at changing up to the top then, that the application, so no person should keep chicken or livestock within town limits without first obtaining a livestock permit from, and then from there, you're gonna want the Hanover,
Town
Hanover
ordinance administrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And the application's going to, that they sign is giving us the right to go inspect the property, right?
Correct. So this gives the right to inspect the property prior to the issuance of the permit, and then in addition to that, by making application and receiving the permit, so once the permit is actually issued, while that permit is on file, if it's not revoked by either the town or the individual, then the town officials, specifically the enforcement officer, would be able to go onto the property and assure that the compliance is.
Okay, so is there going to be a thing there to revoke it? Because you said unless it's revoked. Is there something in here about revoking it, or is there guidelines that they have to meet at all times? Like if we inspect it, it's not
too close to the other person? Or-
Yeah, I mean, how
So
to,
we would have to maintain, I mean, as far as maintenance of the guidelines, it would be maintenance of whatever is in this
That is
ordinance.
this.
And then that would jump to section 7, which is enforcement, which is page 3, what page, I have this page 3, you guys have long form, so I have page 2.
Yeah.
But section 7, where any person found in violation of the ordinance is subject to a $50 fine per day, is how I have it written, and
Yeah.
that for each day that it continues. So that's each individual day that the violation is ongoing. So it's not just one $50, I mean, if you
it's $50 every day.
every day.
Every day.
And
Until you
then
fix
three or more violations within the same calendar year will result in the permanent revocation of the livestock permit.
Okay. Okay.
Mike,
That's-
we'll
I mean, that's just suggested
we'll get
language.
you a copy, yes.
Mike, you can have a copy of this. Hang on.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes.
Does the ordinance have any provision that maybe we want them to reapply? So if Mike were to go and say, hey, yeah, this looks okay, this is a one person living on 1 acre and they don't have anybody around them. And then a developer comes in and builds some houses around them, would we want them to have to reapply every year?
Are they gonna be
And-
grandfathered in?
Well, and here's what I'm basing this on. Madison just passed some kind of similar thing about Airbnbs
Yeah.
and having to reapply every year. They don't have to pay the fee every year, but they have to reapply so that the town, so that Madison can keep track of
Knows that there's.
What's
how
going
many
on?
Airbnbs are operating and such.
That's a good idea.
And we could, and so if Mike says, yes, you can get a cow.
Yeah,
That's for 1 year.
yeah,
And you come back and you reapply, and if nothing's really changed, the idea would be they could keep the cow. But if something has materially changed, that way we're not dealing with this grandfathered in crap year. You know, once they get a cow, then they can always have a cow, right?
yeah. Gotcha, yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know what the
Is that what
legality
we can do?
is.
Yeah, I mean, so the first provision, I mean, so section 1, livestock permits, and then there's a sub-provision, expiration. I mean, like, currently it reads that they're valid for as long as the applicant resides at the property, but I mean, we can make it that it expires in the term 365 days, and at that point, the
Yeah.
applicant has to reapply, waiving application.
Waive your fee,
Okay.
And I would
just so
say
we
this,
still
that-
know.
And I would say, I don't know how that is, I haven't read this obviously, but if somebody gets turned down and wants to reapply, do we set how many days they have to wait, or months, or whatever? And I would not withhold, say, oh, well, you paid one application fee and we turned it down. If they get turned down, they should have to repay the fee for us to go through the process of sending Mike out. and
Sure.
doing, you know, all the due diligence
Right.
again.
Yeah, the $25 is cheap when you
Yeah.
gotta follow up all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, or if they don't reapply for a few years and then they reapply like 5 years later, then
And then-
maybe you would be back.
We don't want to have to be going back 3 or 4 years and say,
Sure.
oh, yeah, they paid the fee, and, no.
Sure.
If you reapply, you pay the fee. If you're just getting approved again, if you're already approved, and you're coming back after a year, you don't have to repay the
Right.
application fee.
So if you have an existing permit, when you reapply, then you don't have to pay.
Then you don't have, bring the permit in, or whatever it is. I don't
Right.
know.
Good idea.
They made a big deal out of this thing about the Airbnbs.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were about trying to match the cost to the amount of work it takes. You know, I mean, and on that side, it was more in the computers and that kind of thing. But, you know, we're sending somebody out, we're paying them to do that. And if it takes him 2 hours, we're already in the hole on a $25
Yeah,
application,
Yeah.
you know? But-
yeah, Mike, you have to work fast.
So, I mean, so is the town board then interested in on denial prohibition from reapplication for a certain period of time? What period of time are you guys thinking about?
I don't know.
I don't know if I feel strongly about having a certain amount of time, because if they're not in compliance when they apply, but then a week later, they make their property in compliance, then I think that's fine.
Yeah, instead of making them wait a year.
Right.
Yeah. So as long as so if they get denied because they don't have as long as they meet all the requirements, then we can give it to them, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
They come back, they pay their 25
Yeah.
again.
He's all about that 25.
Yeah.
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 More money.
Yep.
Because if their plan was for having like, 10 chickens and we only allow 6. Then if they want to reapply with 6 chickens instead of 10, I wouldn't want to deny that application.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
But I think if that happens 3 or 4 times, they ought to be struck out.
Yeah.
What happens when they get their animals and then you deny them next year? Is the town going to go seize those animals if they're not willing to sell them? So they got to apply every year.
Yeah.
And you're saying, hey, we have to approve it every year. And I've invested thousands of dollars in pens and feed, depending on what you get. I mean, you get a cow, I mean, that's a lot of money. You get a goat, not as much. Get chickens, definitely not as much.
We'll have a great picnic in the park.
Yeah. Cookout.
It would be more of a compliance issue, so we would have to ask them to be in compliance of the permit standards, because those aren't changing. So if the cow they got was pregnant and now they have 2 cows, then they need to sell one of their cows, because that's what the permit was for, based on what the
Yeah.
property is,
Yeah.
right?
Because
Yeah.
we're in city limits, we're
Yeah.
in town limits, we're not in the country, so.
I mean, they don't have to move far, they could move out into the county.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have all the
exactly.
chickens and cows and pigs they want,
And roosters.
whatever, yeah.
Has anybody got an acre lot here in Hanover?
I do.
I just wondered,
Kobe can
I mean, you could make that where you couldn't
I
have
mean,
it.
we have a lot and a half, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
a
It's-
complete acre,
Yeah.
but.
It's probably not over there
Ours
where you
is.
live. Yeah, because my lot's pretty big and it's not an acre.
I don't know if very many are. I know I got 8 acres up there.
Yeah. Does it play into it if it's like a wooded acre versus like an open acre as well?
Yeah,
Because if you've got like a 1/4 acre that's open field and then the rest of it is all wooded. We have so many questions about this.
That's why we wanted to
Gets
get
too
here, because
complicated.
it just,
can't think of anybody with
I
it
would
over
agree
an
with
acre.
that.
Yeah, I don't
I
think-
guess a cow can exist in woods.
Maybe out by the car wash.
Yeah,
Behind
I
the
think you
LCDS.
make it to where they ain't gonna have enough property to have that cow.
No, yeah, because each cow needs 1 acre, right?
Right now, we have, I actually.
Yeah,
have
and
this
this,
minimum-
can you imagine having a cow on an acre right now, how wet it is?
Oh,
It
no.
would be.
Let's go ahead and let
Oh,
him.
sure.
Yeah,
read
yeah.
this.
Oh, well, wait, so, hold on, a couple of things. You guys have mentioned several different
I
things.
know.
So, you mentioned that on 3 denials there was a suggestion of if there are 3 denials, then you can't reapply. Is that something that you guys want included? Or that there's some prohibition on reapplying?
so is it the denials because they didn't meet the compliance?
Requirements.
Yeah.
I mean, my understanding would be that would be the only reason to deny, is that.
Right, so if it's
Right.
denied 3 times, then I think maybe they'd have to wait a year or 6 months or something, to
I'd
make
say
it
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then,
Let's forget about the cows for now.
okay, and as far as the question about enforcement, like, the enforcement provisions, we probably do need to beef up the enforcement, because this really contemplates enforcement for someone who has gotten the permit, but then is, in violation after the permit. We probably need an enforcement provision of someone who doesn't get a permit as well.
Right.
I mean, as far as whether or not we seize the animals, we probably need a court order to seize the animals. That would be like an injunctive order. But I mean, as far as the fines, again, $50 per day is just a number I threw in there. I mean, if you guys,
I like that.
I think you can go $250 for the first offense and $750 for each offense thereafter under the,
Yeah, I
you know,
think
state
I think
statute.
50.
Who seizes the animals?
Well, that would be, I mean, if we had a court order, then.
What we
would
call
be-
animal control,
Correct.
Yeah, we would work with the sheriff's department.
sheriff's department, or law enforcement, or,
Yeah, going out chasing chickens. No, I think that,
Well, they chase pigs.
I mean, I would assume it would be animal control. I mean, it'd be pursuant to court order.
Yeah.
The court has the authority to, order the
Right.
county.
Is there, is it allowed that if somebody is not in compliance with an ordinance, they can be arrested? Is that a thing?
There are criminal penalties for certain types of ordinances, but I mean, like that,
This
Generally,
would
I think that would have to be
qualify
some type
it'd have to be a
of,
misdemeanor offense
Yeah.
for it to be an arrest.
like if they steal water, turn the water meter on when they don't have it paid and.
right, shut off, yeah.
I'm just trying to think about this, and I'm not trying to overthink it.
No.
You're right.
But I think our ultimate goal here is we don't want the darn things in the town, right? We'd love for you to have them here around the town, but not in the town. So when we say things like, oh, if you get struck out 3 times, you gotta wait 6 months, hell, make it a year. Maybe they'll lose interest in the whole idea of chickens and pigs after a year and move on to something else,
Well,
right? We don't want,
I'm not saying I don't want them in here, I mean.
People eat those eggs.
Yeah,
If Jane got chickens, which we wouldn't, but, I'd love to share eggs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with us, like.
having
our
a small
regulations,
flock.
A small little flock, they go get their eggs, no roosters, 'cause they
But
don't
no
want.
roosters
I don't want
crowing.
cockadoodle,
Well,
but
you
I
have
don't
s-
want them.
You have 6 chickens, you get 4 to 6 eggs a
And you
day,
can
I
maintain
mean.
6 chickens. It's when you get so many chickens that you can't maintain it, and then the neighbors start saying it stinks, it smells, I mean, but I've got friends that have chickens.
in a
and-
town with most lots less than an acre, I don't care if they're taking care of them or not, you're gonna smell their chickens.
You're gonna smell.
You're gonna smell their pigs, you're gonna smell their cow, you're gonna smell it. That stuff is not meant to happen in subdivisions and towns and that kind of, it's meant to happen out on farms.
I want to tell you, aren't you the lady with the kid goats? I pull up there all the time and watch those things. That's the most entertainment I've had in years.
Yeah.
They jump up on those tires, they jump up off each other. They don't hurt anything. My son lives just up the street. He never hears them.
For me, as, we exist in an agricultural community historically and presently, and I'm a big fan of projects like 4-H and things like that. So I want to make sure that we are allowing people to do those projects if they want.
City kids to have the opportunity
Yeah,
to put a
yeah,
chicken in the fair,
yeah.
or a rabbit in the
Right,
It
fair.
doesn't mean it has to be at their house.
It's true.
Well,
It doesn't
unless
mean it has
unless
to
you've
be
got
at
the
their
money
house.
to have other
And
property.
It would be limiting people who don't have other property.
Or family around here.
Yeah.
If I see your dog out there, I see you out there playing with them. I drive down that road every day.
Because I owned chickens for years, and never did we have it smell. But we also cleaned our pen every 2 days. We
Yeah.
changed it out, and then what we're
Yeah.
supposed to do is moved our pen, a couple different 4 squares. That's what we moved our pen for, so they had new grazing area, helped our grass grow, and that kind of stuff. So there's things you can do to minimize that. I do understand it gets out of control, and horses and cows, you're talking about a lot more,
Big animals like
big
that,
animals like
yeah.
that are gonna have feces that is
Hard to
big
clean
problem.
up.
It's harder to get rid of. So, I mean, I
Can't
do
even go
understand.
cow pie up.
Is there anything in here that talks about how far away
They have to be from
they
the
have to be
house.
from a house?
I don't think we have from a house. We have from, so the rear, so you're at section 3 then. Section 3 is location. And that provides that it can only be in the rear yard, can't be in the front yard. And then that all coops, fenced runs, pens must be at least 20 feet from any adjacent residential dwelling, excluding the owner's dwelling, and at least 5 feet from the property line. But again, those are just numbers that I
See, the people up here that the guy's complaining about, they don't have a backyard.
It's right on their property.
It's all front,
Hmm.
but it's their property. But it's right next to the guy's house.
It's right on his property line.
Yeah.
And that says it has to be how many feet from the property line?
So I mean, the way I have it, the way I drafted is 5 feet from the property line, 20
I think it
feet
needs to be
from.
more than that.
I do too. 5 feet's,
It's not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs to be 20.
yeah.
So my question is, since you know where we're located with the goats, I don't know if you've seen my chicken coop set up.
Yes.
So it's technically in my side yard because my backyard it butts up next to my neighbor.
Right.
So my house faces Thornton, and then what is it that we're next to, Sycamore or Syracuse? And then, so right behind my deck is my fence, and then a couple feet the neighbor's house. Whereas I have a wider yard before Rainbow's property and then Rainbow's apartment, so I currently chose that location for my coop and my run.
But you're away from the,
Correct.
yeah. And it's not the front yard, it's your side yard.
I've never heard a complaint
Yeah,
about your
no.
chickens.
Oh, our neighbors love all of our animals.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
comes outside and feeds them and watches.
Oh,
Yeah.
those kid goats, I tell you, they're so cute. I thought they were dogs for a while. I kept going around.
They're creeping crosses. This section 3 does say it cannot be located in the side yard, so if that's something that we're concerned about.
Because some people don't have a backyard.
Right?
You don't.
I'm just saying, as long as it's not in the front yard.
Yeah, so it can't be in front of the house, but it
Yeah.
can be beside the house.
Right.
Yeah. And that's how it is up here beside.
And then 20 feet away from anybody's property.
Yeah.
Line, yeah.
20 feet away from the property.
All right, so front yard prohibition.
Right.
And so instead rear yard only, we're gonna call it front yard prohibition. Chickens and livestock must be kept in the rear or side yard.
20 foot away from the.
And then they're prohibited from being in the front yard. And then, yeah, on the setback, in that case, I mean, we still need a provision with regard to how far away from adjacent residential dwellings, or, I mean, because I've got it as 20 foot from residential dwellings, but if we have a 20-foot setback from the property line, then
Yeah.
it can't be within 20 feet of residential dwellings.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So can we just simplify that down to
Yeah.
a setback of 20 feet from the property line?
Yeah.
yeah. That would make him happy over here. That would make the guy over here happy that comes to all the meetings.
Side
Daniel
yards
Cox.
can be approved
Yeah.
based on the situation.
Because they'd have to move
And
it
then
away
it would be Mike's
from his
call to go
property.
out.
We could, yeah.
Because like their situation sounds like it's fine and the neighbors agree, but
Yeah.
as soon as we say side yards are okay, somebody's gonna put something in a side yard and the neighbor's not gonna be happy. Or
Right.
you're gonna be able to clearly see it from the street and, you know,
Right. So
all
side
the
yard,
beautification money we're spending.
side yard would be,
Optional.
with the approval of, the side yard would be approval of the enforcement administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are your little goats friendly?
Yes.
Are they? I do. If you see a red equinox pulled up over the side there, it's me watching them, and I call her and say, "You should see him."
So when we pass this, when we get complaints, and Mike goes out to, I'm thinking of the house that we're getting all the complaints
Yeah.
about that's not, can he say this is not allowed? You've got to have it so many feet away? Or,
Because they did move theirs, but they moved it closer
yeah, they keep moving it closer to the,
to
So
the
that's, so it's
first.
just, generally speaking, ordinances take effect on the date that they're passed, and they're proscriptive, meaning that they move forward in time. They're not typically
retroactive.
retroactive. However, so like grandfathered in is a term that's
Yeah.
used, and what we mean by that is a non-conforming use, so something that does not conform is typically permitted to remain so long as it is not altered or changed in any way. So what I would say is that for any existing, situation, that if they have the same number of animals in the same place, everything is the same, then they are probably a non-conforming and are permitted to continue.
Stay.
But as soon as there's any change, at that
So,
point, they have to be.
If they become a nuisance though, which,
A separate thing, I mean, I can say, yeah, it's a nuisance. then-
so that, is that going to be part of this ordinance, or is that another ordinance that we need to pull out?
And does one person, is that considered a nuisance? I mean, I could complain about something that Jane might complain about.
So generally speaking, so nuisances ordinances are tough because sometimes they're written too broadly or too vaguely. And so in order for it to be a nuisance, it has to meet whatever the definition is provided for a nuisance. So in this instance, I mean, like, I wouldn't necessarily include nuisance in this ordinance.
Okay.
We would probably want to look, I'm positive that the town has a nuisance ordinance already on the books, and we can take a look at that ordinance and whether or not that ordinance needs to be adjusted to determine, like what a nuisance is and to the extent that, for example, we looked at the nuisance ordinance previously with regard to dogs barking, like that we have a nuisance ordinance, that nuisance ordinance includes dogs barking or excessive noise, I think is what it falls under. So we can look to expand the nuisance ordinance, but I mean, I don't think it's a good idea to commingle this
Okay,
ordinance.
that's what I wanted to know.
So if somebody has a rooster right now,
It's grandfathered.
and we are prohibiting roosters, it's grandfathered in, right?
That would be my opinion, would be that I don't know that you can make something that someone has already done illegal. Like
Okay.
if they're currently doing it. Now, I don't think that they can replace the rooster. If the rooster dies, they can't get a new rooster. They also, if they change the rooster's location, if they change anything about what their setup is, then they have to comply with the ordinance at that point, and that would include
Right.
roosters.
Okay.
How would they know that?
How would you know?
If the person that's grandfathered in, he don't have to get a permit, right?
Right?
So how would that guy know that he can't do that?
How would he know that he can't get a new rooster?
Yeah, I mean, $50 says he would. He'd get another rooster, right?
Yeah.
But he wouldn't go to Mike, because he don't have to.
He does have to if he's planning on changing anything about.
But he doesn't know that.
He doesn't know that.
Are we gonna be able to identify these properties that are classified as grandfathered?
Yeah, is he gonna go up to Maple Street and look at that house?
Well-
And if that resident has a rooster, does he have to mark if it's a white or red rooster?
And you're
Or,
right, because I know of one rooster back there, because I go back there.
because like you said, if it dies, you just gonna get another one.
Oh, yeah.
The essential question is, are they gonna have to apply for a permit even though they currently have livestock on the property?
Can we have them apply but not, and waive
We have
the,
them registered.
yeah, that's what
It should
A
be.
registration requirement.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That I think we can do.
and not, and we'll waive the fee.
Well, I mean, it's not even that they're not even, I wouldn't issue a permit in that
Right.
situation because they're not actually in compliance with the ordinance. But we can add a registration requirement that all people who have non-domestic animals are required to register. That doesn't make it illegal for them to have it, but it would make them illegal for them to continue to have it without registering it. And then that would make compliance easier because then we would have a registration.
And then
we
he
have
could give,
complaints.
he could give them
It'll
a
take a
copy,
while.
then, he could give them a copy of the new ordinance and say, this is our new ordinance, so
Right.
if any changes, if you change anything that you have now, you lose your rooster, you can't get another one.
Well,
If you do this, you
we
can't,
put out,
You gonna get
Jane
another
puts
one.
out a newsletter.
Gotta tag him.
Yeah, in our newsletter. Kobe, couldn't we say something on the water bill?
Hmm?
If you have fowl,
Any livestock,
any livestock, please check with town hall.
yeah. Yeah, we could easily jot that online on the water
Yeah.
bill.
Well, we can add it to the enforcement provisions too, that if you fail to register, even if you are a non-conforming, even if you don't need a permit because you predate the ordinance, that if you fail to register, that it's still a violation of $50 a day, and that 3 violations that the town could take enforcement action, including injunction, which would mean removal of the animals.
Right.
So I have a couple questions, if it's okay.
Yes.
First, when we spoke, I think it was last month or whenever it was, I have, one of my breeds is a silkie. I don't know if you know much about chickens, but they are it takes longer to be able to sex them. So when I told you I'm in possession of no roosters, I believed it. However, a week ago, one of my silkies started crowing. So Correct me. Anyways, so now I know the answer to that. So does that mean I'm allowed to be in possession of him until he dies? Because
Pretty
I
much,
already
yeah.
own
You
him?
had him,
Yeah.
yeah.
My next question is, when we bought our house in November, I was in conversation, I believe his name was Scott, but I don't see him.
Scott
I never met
Williams,
him,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't see his name, I should say. And he did not tell me that there was a limit. So I'm in possession of 9 chickens. Does that mean that I need to reduce my flock if the limit is 6?
So what it means is, I mean, as of right now, there is no ordinance that
Okay.
limits it. If the town passed an ordinance that limits it to 6, I mean, you know, the town can't stop you from having the 9 that you had before the ordinance was passed.
Yeah.
But once you go down to 6, you can't go back up.
Right, okay.
after.
Yeah.
Silkies are not heavy layers, so that's why I opted for 3, because you get about 150 eggs apiece from them, whereas with others you get about 300. So that's why I double that.
Okay.
I've not seen a chicken there. All I see is those babies.
I keep them, now I work from home, but when I was away from home, I didn't let them out in the yard unattended in case one of them decided he could fly. and jump
Sure.
up in, so I keep them in their run, but now I
Oh.
work from home, I alternate them and the dogs out in the yard.
Yeah. I sit outside of your home and I call Debbie.
They love the tires now.
Oh, they do.
How
They
many
do.
chickens you
They're
got?
hysterical.
Okay.
Well,
Take her
Trevor's
out.
sitting
10 right
outside there and
now.
you see us outside, there's more than
Okay,
one.
I don't-
Okay.
Driveway
No.
out.
Well, you sell
I
eggs,
may.
right?
Yeah,
From
to
time to
Cherry
time.
Lions and yeah.
Okay, so we want to wait till he makes his changes and
I
brings it
wonder
back
how
to
it'd be
us.
since I
Because
have
we're
more
not
than
done
1
it
acre.
yet.
No.
It'd
God,
be
we
with
took
more
a
than
long
1
on
acre.
chickens.
They're about halfway. Okay, so I think that. so
That's
that-
some
that would be
problems
location
there.
Yeah,
Setbacks
it
that,
is.
that we have.
Plus mine's down by the sewage plant. So
Yeah,
it's
so your
probably
front
other
yard
stuff that's in
prohibition,
line.
and that allows for placement in rear yard, and then side yard approval of the enforcement officer. And then setbacks are 20 foot from the property line.
Yep.
Quick period.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's any issue with the containment. I mean, it must be contained in secure
Yeah.
predator-proof coops, et cetera, et cetera. Jumping back, then that brings us, so number and type of chickens, which was addressed, only females, no roosters, no more than 6 hens. They must be for personal use only. Commercial sale of eggs, meat, breeding chickens are prohibited.
So does that mean they can't sell to their neighbors?
No, it doesn't mean that. It can't be commercial. I mean, it's not, it can't be
They
like.
can't open their,
business.
put a sign out and say,
Eggs for sale.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
we've got
Well,
two.
We have people doing that,
I mean, commercial to me would be like
Can't
a
take them
lot.
to Kroger.
Like they're
No
selling
way
at
you're gonna-
Kroger's
yeah,
or-
yeah.
yeah. Or going to the farmer's.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Like,
Gotcha.
having a booth,
I
or
would- I
with
would
that,
consider
not.
that.
Yeah, yeah, gotcha.
okay.
Okay, so then that brings us to section 3, property required for housing. So unlawful keep, so the way it's written right now, unlawful keep cows, goats, sheep, horse, goats, sheep, horse, or other large animals of hoofed variety unless such animals are situated within a lot or pen area not less than 1/2 acre. Now not less than 1/2 acre just represents the absolute bottom floor. And then from there, it breaks down to, based on sizing. And so minimum of 1 acre for a horse. Exceptions can be made for horses kept in box stalls. And again, I just adopted that language from somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you guys don't like it,
No.
I have a minimum of 1 to 2 acres per cow. I think it just needs to be one of the, I mean, it's either 1 or 2. I don't know why I wrote 1 to 2. Again, I cribbed some of this from other counties or other ordinances. So I mean, that one I think needs to be either 1 or 2 per cow. Exceptions can be made. So it says exceptions can be made for commercial cattle operations. I think we should probably strike that because we're not going to have commercial cattle
Right.
operations. Minimum of a 1/2 acre for goat and sheep, and then
So we already have goat and sheep.
We got cows too.
We've got cows too.
We got horses.
They probably don't, well, the horse left, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Horse isn't over there anymore?
No, it's been gone for a while.
Okay.
So they're
She would have more
grandfathered
than an
in,
acre,
right?
wouldn't she,
again,
Sherman?
Yeah,
I mean,
she's-
generally
Sherman has
speaking,
several acres
as long as they
right
don't
there.
make any changes.
Okay. Because they chased Debbie and me,
What to?
The
Horse?
goats.
Oh,
the goats. They tried to eat her clothes.
It was a little scary.
Yeah, it was scary. I had to yell at Danny, come and help.
We were walking in the.
I mean, we're walking in the park.
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't be in the park.
Well, they were in the park.
Oh, that guy behind here, he has
Yeah.
more than an acre,
They
yeah.
lived back there.
Hmm.
There's a statute
Oh,
for
yeah.
livestock.
I think you take that and make it 2 acres where that eliminates that.
They were running
That's
that
my
large
opinion.
we
2
were
acres.
too.
It is-
Yeah.
That's what I was questioning that a while ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
because 2 acres, nobody has, really.
so I think,
So they're grandfathered in, we can't tell them, you know where I'm talking?
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
their
Yeah,
house.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
so yes, yeah, I mean, if,
And
again,
then over by the church.
Right,
okay, so
ordinance would be moving forward, again, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're allowed to let your animals just run
Just run.
free. I mean, like, if they leave your property,
Yeah.
then, you know.
we thought they were cute, we're
So
like
they tried
this,
to-
and they started eating our clothes.
yeah. So 12 to 14 pigs per acre.
Again,
I don't
just
want that
a-
in town.
No, no.
No.
So give me.
Well, Kobe can do that, he's got 8 acres.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, this says 12, 14 per acre, so
Oh,
8
8
acres, he could have 100 pigs.
Not Kobe.
Yeah, can you
I
imagine?
don't
the
know. I
complaints?
grew up with pigs. I'm not gonna have, no. Yeah,
And again, it's got an exception there for commercial pigs.
that's a lot of pigs per acre.
You ain't kidding.
So what you all were just talking about where you got attacked in the park or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
we
so-
were.
No, but, so I get it, so they're grandfathered in with whatever animals they have right now. But if those animals get out and into the park regularly, then it would fall under the nuisance
Yeah,
and
They
all
should be
grandfathering might go out the window.
Disappear.
Now, if it just happened once, maybe, that's probably not a nuisance, but then it might become where Mike goes and looks and they don't even have a pen. They're keeping it in with a split rail fence and the animals just walk in and out as they
I
want.
think that's kind of how these are.
There is a tighter fence where the
Is
birds
there?
can't get out into the park. I think it's a chain fence.
I've never walked this park since, so I don't know.
so what do we do about the pigs? Can we just say,
Yeah, whatever you guys want, I mean, I could bump it, so right now, we've got half acre per goat or per sheep. I mean, you could have it per pig, I mean.
I think
same
per
thing.
pig,
So
yeah.
we could just strike that whole pig thing and just add pig to the one right above it.
Yeah, that way if
So-
they have a pet
Weight
pig.
restriction, obviously, I'm not trying to invest in pigs, I have enough animals. But I know other places I've resided, they have a weight limit, so that way you know what type of breed, so that they're more docile versus aggressive. Is there a weight limit for the pig on the acre?
And that would tie into like, if you have like a miniaturized pig versus like the full size pig, or the same goats, or even like horses, like a mini horse's weight limit. Then
Well, I think you make the acres so big, whether it's 2 acres and nobody's got 2 acres, then they automatically can't do
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's where you go with that.
Yeah,
Then it's cut and dry and
yeah.
You say it again, Sam?
like, say you got up here like
Raise it
1
to
to
2
2 acres per cow. So if you just made that 2 acres,
Yep.
there's nobody but Kobe can have a cow
Yeah.
So-
I'm not getting a
Or
cow.
pig.
or a
Or
pig.
I'm not getting a pig.
So
Or a horse?
Just building a beautiful barn.
Like, I mean, a horse, you want a horse on a half an acre? I mean, come on.
so
Well,
we,
look how she had that horse over there.
I know.
It had nothing.
right now horses are 1 acre, right now cows are 1 to 2 unless we want to make it 2, and then a half acre for goat, sheep, or pig. Do we want to move pig up to cow and have 2 acres per cow and pig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. 2
Because that
acres
takes
per
care
cow.
of, that takes care of it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine having a cow,
horse, and horse as well?
like all this rain we've had,
Okay.
it would be
Yeah.
nothing but
Mud.
totally mess.
If they want to own a pig, if it can live in their house, they can have it.
Yeah.
It has to be outside, then they can.
Hey, we had 2 pigs back there at that house, remember? God, it took us a year to get rid of
I
it.
was over Ben's one day and I said, I think I seen a pig go by your front door.
Running down the
Our
road.
police had to chase him down.
I have a question. I'm a little confused on like, so you said a half acre for a goat, and then you got 1 acre for a horse. Do you realize like a horse is like 5 goats
No, we're saying 2 acres, 2 acres for a horse.
2 acres.
Yeah.
There was just confusion.
Yeah.
That's right. They jumped around a bit.
Yeah, we jumped all over the place.
You should see their little goats, they're like this.
So that brings us back to James, the miniature discussion.
Yeah, they're
Miniature.
miniature.
What do you
They
guys want
won't
to
be
do?
much bigger.
We leave it up to the decision of the ordinance enforcement administrator.
Yeah.
Kidney are smaller than regular goats.
Or is
So-
that-
Oh, yeah.
Now, yours big.
No, it's, I mean,
Cross, so I don't want like any misunderstanding, it's not actually a miniature breed, but the breed itself is small, it's
Yeah.
not a pygmy cross.
When you go home, go by CVS and just keep going.
Okay.
They're the first house past the apartments, you'll see them.
all right.
They'll be up on a tire. They're the cutest things.
Or we could do a thing where it's like,
Yeah.
look up the average weight of a goat or goats up to this weight. And then if it's like
We're-
3
We're
mini
not,
goats,
we're
then,
not doing,
okay,
Yeah.
that's too much.
that's too much, yeah.
All right, just proceed.
Okay, good.
My thought was,
Pat's like,
it was all
I'm an Hanover.
Decision.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Think him over in Wayne.
Well, when it comes to when it comes to smaller animals, I mean, like, do you want any provision that separates them from their larger breed? Like, from, pygmy goats or, I mean, 'cause they're, well, you guys wanna,
My dog's bigger than their goats,
Hopefully.
Yeah.
so do you want, I mean, like, do you want the?
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
To be able to.
Their goats about the same size as my dog.
yeah.
Do you want the administrator to be able to designate certain animals as pets?
Okay, and I'll touch base with
That,
them.
like, if they are of a small variety and small number, that the administrator can designate them as pets?
Yeah,
Shane's got a pet pig.
Yeah.
yeah.
He walks it on a leash.
that works for me,
Yeah.
to leave that up to our ordinance
It has its
enforcement
own bedroom,
administrator,
Tim.
to determine how many
Yeah,
and the size of the lot.
okay. Okay.
So designating.
The one night
smaller-
there was this great big boom, I called Shane, I said, Shane, what was that? He said, I don't know, but pigs can fly, because his pig flew off the couch when it hurt him. You got a pig, doesn't he, Zachariah? Shane.
He's about a 500 pound
That's
pig.
big.
Good Lord.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
I think that's it.
So we're done with chickens, right?
But the whole ordinance, I think.
I think
Yeah.
the whole ordinance,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like, there's a sanitation.
I hope so, this has been the toughest ordinance we've ever done.
Yeah.
It's the sanitation and feed.
Next two
I don't
should
think
be
there's anything
quick.
controversial about that.
No.
There's prohibitions on slaughter. There is, there's a cross, like Debbie, I said earlier, there shouldn't cross over. There is a crossover here in nuisance. The chicken livestock should not be allowed to create noise, odor, nuisance that interferes with financial and neighboring properties. So that does tie in there.
Okay, so then he does have something on this one then.
Yeah, it's a tie.
Just go by.
Otherwise, good.
Okay, that's a lot. All right.
Great.
Work on that.
All
Hopefully
right.
I
I
understand my
think
chicken
the
stuff.
Hanover
No pun
shines.
intended.
That Hanover shines when you have chicken.
Yeah, I just was gonna give him a copy of it, and she emailed him a copy too.
Good.
We're not gonna really discuss it tonight.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, is it on here? I didn't think I put it on here.
No.
Okay. So next ordinance is the abatement of code violations on private property at the assessment and collection. Okay, what was that one?
Yeah, so this one, you had asked about, basically if there are violations of ordinances that are on private property, for example, noxious weeds or grass.
Yes.
This permits the town to go in and to remedy that, and then to have the costs of that assessed to the property owner. But there is a process for that, so I'm like, having looked at having looked at the statute and having looked at other similar ordinances, generally speaking, notice is required. It doesn't have to be a long notice, but notice is required to go out to the property owner of, hey, you're in violation of this ordinance, you need to get it taken care of, otherwise we're gonna do it.
Right.
And then they have an opportunity to appeal that to the town board, and, if it's approved, then, it's roll on. So the ordinance, is gonna allow for, it's consistent with Indiana Code 36-1-6, et cetera. It allows for, the zoning enforcement authority is authorized, the enforcement authority is authorized to inspect property within the town, investigating potential violations and observations on receipt of complaint. Then a notice of violation, if the violation is identified, then the authority will issue a written notice of violation to the owner. The notice shall state the description of the address of the property, the specific violation, the corrective action that must be taken, a mandate that the violation is remedied in no less than 10 days from the date of the notice, the right to ask for an administrative hearing, and an explicit warning that failure to remedy will result, or have a hearing, will result in the abatement of the violation, and then the administrative costs being assessed as a tax lien on the property. And then service will be sent via certified or registered mail to the last known address, or posted at the property in a conspicuous place. And then if they do ask for a hearing, that's the hearing would happen the hearing would happen at the next regular board meeting within 10 days. That's on receipt of that, it would stay enforcement, sorry, I'm jumping around too much. The town clerk will set it for a hearing within 10 days. Enforcement stayed until the board has that hearing. Hearing has to happen within 30 days. Town issues the final order whether or not there's a violation. If they still fail to remedy the violation within the time frame specified, then the town, through its employees or third-party contractors, so you have the option to do either one,
Good.
can go in and are authorized to clean up the property and take all necessary steps. Then an itemized statement is put together of all the costs that are associated with that, including labor, dumping, disposal, landfill fees, administrative overhead costs. I put a fixed rate of $150 on per abatement action on the administrative cost, inspection, tracking, processing time. Actual costs of mailing, public notice, any reasonable attorney's fees that are involved. All of that is invoiced, and then payment is due within 30 days. If they fail to pay it within that 30 days, then the clerk treasurer can certify a copy of the itemized statement, we send it over to the county auditor, and then that creates a lien on the property, plus the statutory fees, which then acts as a tax lien for all intents and purposes. And that this remedy is cumulative, meaning that it's in addition to any other remedies that the town would have under either local ordinance or state law, including filing a civil action if necessary for injunctive relief or additional penalties. In other words, if this overlaps with a nuisance violation, for example, where the person could be fined, multiple fees, the mere fact that the town goes in and cleans it up doesn't mean that they can't still be, have fines assessed to them as well. So that is the content of this particular.
And Kobe, we brought it up because Don Pettit used to preach to us, don't take your town equipment in there and do it.
No, I like the third-party
Tear it down.
contractor,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't want to tear our equipment up.
Right, exactly. Or
Because it'll cost us more than 150.
Yeah,
And really, if you go into a tall yard like that and mow it, belts are $90.
Well, it could be a liability on our
They just did
part.
one that was up to here.
Yeah, I mean, your blades and belts are over the 150,
Yeah.
let alone all
Yeah.
the filing fees and everything else. So,
If you throw something out and hit their house,
yeah.
we're responsible.
So there's just a couple other things. So the enforcement authority is listed as the town marshal, the code enforcement officer, the building inspector, or anyone else designated by the town board, any other employee designated by the town board to enforce town ordinances. So that leaves it open in case you've got, I know that sometimes different roles have not been filled at different times, so that way someone else can just jump right in.
Right.
And then the other thing I wanted to note is on violations, the violation is pretty broad. Any condition, act, or omission on private property that violates the text or provisions of the Hanover Town Code, including but not limited to regulations governing public nuisance, trash and debris accumulation, abandoned vehicles, unsafe structures, that would include weed, noxious, basically any violation that's on.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I tell you what I'd like to see, Zachariah. There's so much grass out the streets. And you can stop and find those people, can't you?
Under town ordinances, yes.
Yeah.
Not a state statute, it says
Yeah.
you can't blow grass in the road,
Yeah.
although there should be.
There should be, right?
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
not
there's-
currently.
there's a
And I
lot,
have,
don't
we
you think?
currently
There
have
is.
one that I have stopped multiple people on, maybe to clean up the grass out of the street.
Yeah.
But I'm not everywhere at once, so if you see it, call me, I'll gladly go ahead and get out the street.
Okay. I will.
I also think that'd be reasonable. Not everyone has a shoe blocker and they are very expensive, so some grass is gonna blow on the road if you get it up really quickly in a reasonable time. Yeah,
Well, my dad always taught us to mow the other way.
Yeah, and that's what you should do, and a lot of guys do, but I mean, some guys, your mower can shoot 2 to 3 strikes depending on what you have.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
So if you drive around a property 2 times the same way, and then you try to go the other way and it shoots into the road, am I gonna give them a fine?
Right.
If it's a repeated thing, yes. Over
But
there by,
at least you could tell them.
yeah, when I have been, there's one over on by Jones's Trailer Park, I've told twice now. I've advised them next time there will be citations, so under the ordinance that we have.
Okay. No, we'll pass it at the next one. Okay.
And that constitutes first reading, so.
Yeah, we'll bring it on, I'll bring it on legal paper
Yeah,
next
then we can
Tuesday.
pass it at the next one.
Yeah,
So I resent everything to you on legal. Did you get the email?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need to pass first reading?
Is this,
Sorry?
Do we need to pass first reading?
You gonna make a motion to pass the first reading, or we just, we don't have to, do we?
Yeah, I think you just made the first reading. I mean, you had me
Okay.
read it, so.
Yeah.
is there any
I don't know.
grandfathering in on what Pat was just talking about with the,
No, there's
like,
no,
junk or garbage in the yard?
No.
or- So, I mean, when we pass that,
everybody's up, yeah.
This doesn't actually make anything, this doesn't make anything new. I mean, whatever is already in violation of the ordinance, is violation of the ordinance. This is setting up a method to actually go in and remediate violations of the ordinance. This doesn't create new violations. That's what I'm saying.
We
Okay,
already have them on the books right now, that these are violations.
Yeah.
This is how we can
Like,
remedy the violations.
so I don't know I don't know the address of the house, but everybody has to know it, just down from, Town Hall.
Town hall, oh yeah.
The one there that the junk is like higher than the fence.
yeah.
And he's cleaned up a lot.
Yeah, but.
We're working on it.
He has or she has way further to go. But so have we been, I don't know, fining, but have we been citing them? or-
Yes,
Okay.
for years.
See, that
What
to
is
me
one,
would-
what is one person's trash might be one other person's,
True.
Treasures.
treasure, so, I
Some people
mean,
might like the sound of a dog barking at midnight and others won't, but that doesn't make it not a nuisance.
okay, we ready for the next one?
Yep, so the next one,
Open burning, you need
do
it?
you have a number on it? I have,
Oh, it's,
What's that?
05, or 5,
Five.
2026
Yeah.
5.
so this one was requested by the town marshal. Yeah, Shane's the one that sent me this. And he had actually done a pretty good chunk of the lifting on this. You already have an ordinance on the books, section 91, that goes through what's required with regard to burning and open burning. So this is an amendment to that. I mean, this would replace section 91. And in whole, like the intent here, as stated, is that the town has a vested interest in regulating open burning within the corporate limits to protect public health and safety and welfare of the residents, specifically with regard to smoke, ash, fire hazards resulting from unregulated burning that can create nuisance conditions. And that Indiana law permits local municipalities to adopt ordinances regulating that. There's a definition section, which we can skip over. It outlines just different specific terms. And then 91.4, it prohibits open burning. It's unlawful to cause or suffer to permit any open burning within the town limits, except as specifically permitted by the subchapter. All open burning conducted in the town shall comply with Indiana code and Indiana administrative code, as well as the fire code. No person will allow any fire, smoke, or ash or debris to create a nuisance. All recreational fires, campfires, burn pits, brush fires, or similar open burning will be contained within an approved, non-combustible and containment area, including non-limited metal rings, etc. Recreational fires means specifically, it means less than 3 feet in diameter and 2 feet or less in height, and will be maintained in accordance with any manufacturer recommendations, or to make sure that there's no hazards created by placement near other combustible material. Any fire that exceeds 3 feet in diameter or 2 feet in height will be located a minimum of 25 feet away from structures and combustible materials. The burning of garbage, trash, refuse, lots of other stuff is prohibited. That's already prohibited under Indiana law and is prohibited here as well. Only clean wood, charcoal, natural vegetation, brush limbs, and similar combustible items may be burned. No burning will occur during hazardous weather conditions or high winds. All fires will be continuously attended. Adequate firefighting equipment will be readily accessible. Any specialty burn exceeding 5 feet in diameter will require notifications to Jefferson County Dispatch prior to ignition, and that the intent of that is so that the fire chiefs can be aware of it. Dispatch and CAD documentation will constitute prima facie evidence of notification. Any fire termination by law enforcement, fire personnel, emergency officials to be unsafe and improperly attended, basically will shut down right away. Failure to comply with lawful directives by law enforcement, fire personnel, emergency officials may result in enforcement under the ordinance and any other applicable Indiana statutes or regulations. I believe, in fact, there are criminal provisions for failing to follow the fire code and fire marshal. There are some exemptions, including recreational fires for campouts and cookouts, ceremonial fires, including bonfires for religious functions, agricultural vegetative burning authorized by Indiana law and approved by the fire authority, burning conducted solely for the removal of tree stumps and limbs, wood burning, fireplaces and grills. No exemption in the section is permitted for the burning of household waste, commercial waste, treated lumber, furniture, plastic, demolition debris, other hazardous materials. The town may require a local specialty burn permit for fires exceeding limitations that are outlined in the chapter. In other words, if you've got some particular reason you can apply to have a permit that you need to exceed what's limited here. Applications for special local burn permits should be submitted to the town, designated public safety officials, agencies, and may require police, fire department, or other designated officials to sign off. The town may establish a burn permit fee of not to exceed $25. Permit holders will comply with all requirements of that. Issuance of the permits does not authorize any burning that would be prohibited by Indiana law or any other regulation. Issuance of a permit does not relieve them of liability for any damage caused by the fire. A permit may be suspended or revoked immediately by law enforcement, and then liability. Any person causing or maintaining an open burn shall be responsible for the cost of any suppression, emergency response, property damage, injury. The property owner, occupant, or tenant who conducts the burn may be held jointly and severally liable. The accidental nature of a fire will not relieve any party of ordinance enforcement or civil liability. Issuance of a permit or failure to enforce any provisions of this chapter does not create liability for the town. So just because the town issues a permit or doesn't enforce it, doesn't mean the town takes liability. Enforcement and penalties that under the subchapter may be enforced by law enforcement, fire official, code enforcement official, or other authorized representatives of the town. Any authorized official may order immediate extinguishment of any fire deemed unsafe, unlawful, or improper. Any violation of the chapter can result in civil ordinance penalties, costs of recovery, emergency response, revocation of permits, injunction, referral for enforcement under Indiana statutes or administrative regulations. Penalty schedule: first offense $100, second offense within 12 months $250, third offense within 12 months $500, plus any costs that are associated with the remediation. Each separate fire incident, each day of continuous violation is a separate offense. Under administrative appeal section, any person who is aggrieved by any order of extinguishment may appeal that. There's an informal review period within 5 days of issuance of citations where the chief or the fire department or the town board designee can review it and make a determination. And then after that, there's a formal appeal, which would need to be filed within 15 days of the informal review, and then that would be set for a hearing before the town council within 30 days. At that hearing, people have the right to be represented and to make a presentation. And the final decision within 10 days of the hearing, the town council would make a final determination. Any final determination is subject to judicial review under Indiana law.
Okay, that's the first reading it out.
So, that includes Hanover College.
Hanover College is within the town limits.
Okay. So when we get these passed, I want you to send these to the president of the college.
Okay.
Because they will not enforce.
I'll hand deliver them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions about them? Okay.
It's good. That Riley, good job.
Yeah.
So that $25 for that permit, that's just a one-time thing, right?
Yeah, that would just be if you have some special reason that you're going to be having a fire that is outside of these. I mean, you don't need a permit to have like a little campfire in your fire ring in your backyard.
Yeah, because we roast hot dogs in her place.
And I measured it, my
It's
fire
like-
is 5 feet
hers is
behind
good.
in
I
diameter.
thought you were grandfathered it. So.
And like the one over there behind CVS, where they keep burning all those debris that keeps falling, the one that has the horse
Yeah.
and all that. They ended up causing a very large fire with a lot of smoke that they believed another house on the following street was engulfed in flames, and the fire department made entry into that home. Ended up being theirs. They will need to apply in the future. They'll have to call dispatch and apply for that permit if they're going to do a large burn like that. They do have the proper equipment to put it out. You know, they have tractors out there to separate it, and they have water sources and all that stuff, and fire extinguishers. But in that specific circumstance, we had no idea if they even had a fire going.
Well, 2 years ago, I won't say names, decided to burn his leaves. He set the whole ditch on fire. It's going down here. I had to call the fire department.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No,
Okay.
leaves are actually against state law, not just ordinance. It's state
Yeah.
law, you can't burn leaves.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so is everybody good with all the changes and everything that we've done on the chicken ordinance, and then these two are good, so.
That chicken ordinance took longer than anything
I
we've
knew it
ever
would.
done.
I knew it would.
I don't know about that.
I know.
Well, maybe not.
All right. I did hand everybody, I think, did you get this? So,
Of chips, yeah.
and she emailed that to you today.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is that Lily thing that I was telling you about, that they did up for like a PACE grant type thing.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I was just thinking, she emailed me. I did get an email earlier today that had no subject line and it didn't say what was in it. It just
Yeah,
had
they
attachment.
never, she
And I'm
never
like,
does.
I'm not opening that.
And I always look for stuff for the
That you
subject.
just sent to, and
I
I'm
did, I
like,
did
oh,
flip
it's
that.
Yeah, because
I do
I
that
had her
too.
send it to all of us.
Okay.
But I gave you a paper copy to it that way.
Thank you.
So, gonna
Yeah,
have
or
Pat
you-
look over it, and we won't be the one administrating it, so.
Correct.
Yeah, and we want Chip here when we talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, other than that, anybody else have anything?
make your announcements.
Okay, Hanover Park Board will meet Tuesday, June the 2nd, 2026 at 5:30 PM before the Hanover Town Council meeting at 6 PM at the Hanover Community Center. Any other announcements? You guys are, everything's good at the office, second?
Yep.
I'll need a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
For a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yahoo!
Thank you.
Enough time to go get back.
What time is it?
6:30.
Oh, yeah.
Before we are.
I had to pull out up on the hill to get out here, and I told Denise, I said, I think I'm going back.
Patty Ritchie's yard. I got rained out halfway through it last night, so.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I seen you going,
Mike, do you want a copy of these other two ordinances?
well,
That might be very helpful.
I waved at you one day,
Copy of that.
you was going that way, I thought, where the hell is he going? And it wasn't like 5 minutes later, it was pouring down rain.
Fire pit.
Thanks, Pat.
Like a standard fire
Yes,
pit.
thank you.
Area is usually about 3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You got the chicken and that's the other chair.
I-
Here, I'll go ahead and give you this one, Mike. This is
Yeah,
just
you're good, no, you're good.
the Lily, what we're looking at as
Like,
far
you're
as.
gonna
You won't have it.
No, but you'll, that way if anybody asks,
Yes.
though, you'll know,
Okay.
that's all
So
this,
that-
like, if,
we're going from that issue,
we have some money in the Lily,
From edge to
and
edge,
we'd like
or
for
fire
residents to
pit,
be able
it should
to
be
apply to maybe freshen up their houses or do certain
Okay.
things, so that's kind of like the administrative. And I think if
You know,
you,
these
what company?
Indiana Wetlands.
Indiana Landmarks would be the one that would be.
I don't think.
Under this,
Go for it.
every fire you can,
So I wish my dad's doing
you
it.
have to call it.
Oh, boy.
I'm having.
Oh, how you doing?
Good.
And we actually have
Good.
at that property. Near that property. And that's what that's for. Like, we have a lot of those where.
Pat, by the way,
Hey,
that's my.
He's talking.
Yeah, so like,
Someone will give me my cell phone.
that's when these orders.
In Madison, yeah, so that's West Sixth now, but even near Alcorn.
You need to go down for it and see what it's good for. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're pretty.
I just love those little
I
things.
would certainly.
I appreciate Well, I just love those little things. If you see it ready, my son lives on it. My son lives on it. Yeah. My son lives on Maple Street. And when I first met Brad, I said, the kids, dogs up here, he said, Mom, you better go hide. Those are dogs. But they're coming out all the time. Yeah.
Food in the fridge for people to feed.
I really, whenever they're out.
Find your number, I was like,
Well,
I know you wrote it down.
I call her all the time, I'll say, Debbie, you need to get over here.
Well, I recently started working remotely, so I keep my phone on silent, so we have it on a
was like, oh my goodness, she called us.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I told you I would.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
Are you still excited, or do you want to what you have to say?
I'm not kidding, here. They both did, and my husband was back here, I yelled, Danny, help us. He said, I told you not to pat him. Yeah.
You'll catch me laughing, because you said, the goats were at large, and
Someone would get it. I've never walked this park since, I'm afraid
With the outcome, hopefully, it's a good resolution.
Yeah.
I figured it in my car.
Exactly.
But, you know, I go to Scott's every day.
And it doesn't happen, right.
Oh, we got the front yard, no. I said, if you think it looks good enough, just send me a check.
So let me ask real quick, what meeting was this tonight?
Just a
It's special call meeting.
One thing that.
Special call,
Yeah.
so what,
Well-
true town council meetings?
No, it was down there.
Yeah.
I think out there, Bill's
Yeah,
is
no,
gonna.
it's
I have
legit
no
I was
idea.
shocked, I thought it was just gonna be just us talking.
No, well,
But-
We
Oh,
first
okay.
called it a work session, but we wanted to be able to point one.
Well, but a work session
Well,
is
you did.
has to
No,
go
that's